Happy Friday, everybody. A 0-0 draw in Oriel Park under the lights on the Carrick Road. But, I mean, is it a positive 0-0 draw? Post-Stevie era, Dundalk did twist during the week as we predicted last week. But, look, we're going to bring in Sharon McKevitt's husband, Steph, to have a chat on the podcast. Steph, ex-League of Ireland professional, cracking punditry, friend of the stars. Look, it's 0-0. I just reading just coming on. It's the first time in the club's history we've gone 5 in a row not scoring at Oriel Park. But I mean, is it a more positive performance? Is it a more, is it what we were hoping for? Maybe if they had got this maybe under Stevie, that he might be still here this weekend and maybe for Monday's game. What's an overall riding feeling after that performance?
First of all, I made a conscious decision to swap jerseys out. For anyone just listening, I'm wearing the jersey from last season. I was hoping it'd change the fortunes, but yeah, look, there was glimpses of positivity there.
Yeah,
from the first whistle, we looked like we'd a bit of hunger and a bit of go about us. We were chasing down balls, stuff that we hadn't really seen.
Yeah.
The last couple of weeks or since maybe the Rovers game. We worked hard. We were in their faces pretty much, and we didn't let them settle, and that was important. I thought, because we limited our own chances as well, but it showed optimism. The bar has been severely lowered the last couple of months, unfortunately, or maybe the last year and a half. But yeah, look, you're coming away from it not being totally disheartened and downtrodden. Lots to take from it and good signs. But look, you were sort of, not that you were expecting it, but not the new manager bounce. But when a manager goes, and maybe there's a few players in there that might have felt hard done by the last couple of weeks. You're thinking of Mahan, who started the game and played the majority of it. He didn't really seem to get a shot, and then he's thrown in to start the game. And he done reasonably well. Like I didn't think he set the world alight or anything, but he done reasonably well. Like he's like that Pat's back four, like they're like 3 Heyman monsters, and then you have Preston, who's not small either and is very good in the air. Like, so yeah, look, you probably had a few lads in there probably felt hard done by, and the shackles are off then, and we're sort of playing a different system, and but lots of positives to take, I'd say, apart from
I think I think overall, like I said there at the start, I think the performance, albeit it's not like we'd said just before we come on, we kind of rushed on air. So we actually end up getting late on air at the home games because it takes us that long to get home with the traffic. But we were kind of quickly talking, and if they had that little bit of bite, that wee bit of fighting, then maybe when. And I don't want to go all of it, but we'll get into the post-CV here now in a couple of minutes. But we're going to bring in that Egypt in a minute as well. That we'll give you a minute, Chris. Don't panic. But if we're, the lineup tonight as well. So we've had the likes of, we've Mountney gone in at right back. We've Archie Davis playing higher up the field in front of him. We've Bradshaw at left back. It took me a wee minute to kind of see where we're playing, but it was an interesting kind of. You kind of wonder, maybe was that a lineup that maybe might have been suggested a couple of weeks ago and maybe wasn't taken on board, or did the boys feel? They've also brought George Shelby back in as well, so maybe that's a nod to him, a bit of confidence, or maybe they felt a little bit hard done by. I don't know, but is it something that the boys wanted to lay in a marker and say, look, we need to change it? We're not going to just try and rinse and repeat what's happened over the last couple of weeks. And I thought, it definitely in the second half, but in the first half, it's the first time I've probably gone in at half time. I've gone down for a cup of coffee, and it's the first time I'm thinking, I can't wait for the second half to start. Because, we were definitely, we were at it more. There was a fight, there was a want in it, there was a hunger, there was, I'm not saying we were outstanding. Like we had said off air, that if it was third or fourth or fifth and sixth in the league and we were a bit higher up, it's probably not a great game. But from where we've come from over the last couple of weeks, it's a nice, going into the Monday game as well. It's a nice little statement of, look, we can change it around a little bit, albeit we don't know what the management system is going to be. But, it gave you a little bit of excitement. It gave you a little bit of kind of, the Oriel row was back almost. It gave you a little bit of buzz to everybody. And, even though it's 0-0, the performance is what we were looking for, isn't it? That's kind of the number one thing we were looking for from these players, and, the change of management as well.
Yeah, exactly. That's all you can go up and is hope that you've something to cling on to. But yeah, just circling back to what you said at the start, I think, Garland and Burns come in. They've obviously been around the first team, so they know what's going on. But yeah, look, I'm sure they would have went in with a sort of blank canvas too. Like we've seen a couple of changes. Bradshaw was utilised in midfield an awful lot this season, and then you see him jumping in at left full. Today, Andy Boyle comes in, vice captain. You sort of half expect when he's fit he plays. Johnson's probably been one of the better players, if not the best player we've had all season. Yeah. But then, like, there was a few question marks over, Archie Davis on the right. I think that's quite, like, I know they've done that, so Mountney gets in the team. But look, for me, I don't think it worked out. I think Davies is a lot more effective from the right full position. I thought he was out of the game pretty much. The keeper tried to target him with the kickouts. I think he won one in the first half, but the keeper's kicking I thought was pretty poor, to be honest with you. Yeah. One or two back passes down our end. The heart was in the mud a few times. I think he thinks he's more time on it or something like that. But he pulled off a couple of decent saves. So yeah, and he's kept a clean sheet, so we can't really be marking him down too much. Yeah, so there was like Hogan playing in the 10 tonight. He was starting high and dropping into the 10, into the pocket, and I was watching the two centre halves. Keeley, he was sort of peeling off Keeley, and he didn't know whether to go with him or stay. And he was picking up little pockets like that, and he was having his shots away. A couple of times he's come close. You'd like to see a few more shots on target, I suppose. Would be one of the critical things you could say about it. But yeah, look, Cullen, I think, I don't know whether he looks like he's carrying an injury for me or he's not fit. It's one or the other. He just looks sometimes he drops in, he has some nice link-up play, but then when the ball gets wide and it's across in the box, they're sort of looking up going, there's no point in throwing it in there because there's nobody in there.
Yeah.
But obviously they had a couple of big calls to make, and look, I'm sure they're pretty happy with coming out with a draw from it. Like we said, Pat's run of form has been pretty good the last couple of weeks. So yeah, look, I think if you said to us at the start of the game or at the end of Monday night, if we take a little draw against Pats at home, I'm sure we all would have took it.
Just when you mentioned, my eyes lit up there when you mentioned we were talking about the keeper there. We're going to bring in a keeper now that's he passed a bit of silverware in the Cooley Winter League, Carlingford Winter League. Christopher,
double shield winner.
Come on.
I want that noted. I want that on my tag when I come.
Yeah, Chris, look, as you would have heard, it is 0-0. I know. I robbed James Rogers' stat just as the music was playing. I seen the stat pop up that it's 5 games now. It's the first time we've gone 5 games not scoring at Oriel Park, I think, or not scoring. Yeah, not scoring. Yeah. So although it's 0-0, we got to take some. We got to be positives in it. It got a bit more bite, a bit more Dundalk, I suppose. There was a bit more. The crowd was back. I think it's crowd on their feet again, which is great to see. It's been so kind of bleak over the last couple of weeks, I suppose, and we don't be going on and hammering people that have lost their job and stuff. It's a difficult time, but it's nice to get that little bit of fight back, and maybe the players, maybe that wake up call from last week to say, look, people like Stephen ODonnell have been in here and have been released, and they're taking no prisoners. At the end of the day, the club comes first, and we have to kind of go out there and get some kind of performance between us.
Yeah, look, I suppose it's the first time I'm on, since Stevie's gone. So look, it is sad that it didn't work out for him, I suppose. But yeah, I think that we probably seen something a little bit more there today, a bit more patterns of play. I think probably that was the most touches I've seen Gullen have in a match as well, which kind of showed that we probably got him in a little bit more, if not in the probably higher up the pitch where you'd want them to be. But it's just interesting, chatting to Brian Gartland there at the end, like he was disappointed that he didn't win the match tonight. He wanted to go out and win that. He thought, they were getting enough maybe to get something out of it. I think unlike the other 2-0 draws, Waterford and Drogheda at home, they were probably teams we were expecting to beat towards were we expecting really anything out of this game. They were third in the league going into this match as well. So actually a draw at home against them isn't a bad result at all. Another clean sheet, we'll take that. That's Shelby's first clean sheet for us, isn't it? As well. So that'll do his confidence a world of good, considering, the trouble he had as well coming into the game. So look, that's 3 games unbeaten now as well at home. Like there's little things you could always take from this as well. I just think higher up the pitch, we're just missing something. I thought tonight was Robbie Benson's best match I've seen him play in a long, long time. He was getting stuck in on everything. It was really, really good to see. Silly yellow card, like it definitely wasn't a yellow card, the one he picked up, but just the ref was just giving it kind of silly yellows like that. But definitely you'd like to think, it was an interesting, in halfway through the first half, was it? I think we had a free kick and Bradshaw went over to take it, but instead of going forward with it, he played it back to the keeper and we nearly got caught out. And Darrell Horgan had run down the wing to receive the ball higher up the pitch and he darted back to say to Zach, do not play that ball, play it up there, we're all up here, go forward with it. And I just thought, like, he took it in kind of good spirit and and it just showed maybe a little drive that we've been missing over the past few weeks as well. So like that was good to see. And I think with Robbie Benson just having such a good game, it probably lifts a couple of our players to show them levels that they need to start to aspire to for Dundalk as well. So look, it's definitely something to build on. Especially going into I nearly forgot, it's a kind of a double-header weekend for us as well. So like I think that's definitely a platform to build on for the Bows match.
Yeah, just on where we mentioned a couple of top performance, and just keep your comments coming in for our man of the match. We'll definitely give away a pizza.
I think I've just given my domination away. Definitely.
we've had a few in already, but yeah, I think I said at the step as well that even the lineup tonight and obviously bringing Shelby back in, obviously hasn't, look, he's had a torrid start, I suppose, and he's been changed at half-time and things like that. And like you said, it's the first time he kept a clean sheet. But Steph had just alluded to the fact there that I think it was actually one stage Andy Boyle in the first half, second half, didn't actually, it felt like he actually didn't want to give him the ball. He actually ran towards him and he almost tried to, sidestep the striker, nearly lost the ball. Was there a little bit of, it seemed to be, even at the end there, George seemed to take an age to get the ball down the field. People were looking for it forward. The last 2 minutes, Gareth was calling them, Burns was calling them up. Is there a little bit of a hesitation there, or maybe is he being too careful because, look, he knows that he's had a tough time on Rose waiting in the wings anytime he's ready, and I think there's a little bit of that, a little bit of kind of not a lack of kind of. I don't know what the word is. Maybe confidence in him from the centre backs. There seems to be a little bit of kind of disconnection there between the two, wasn't there?
Like I think, Steph, you probably know better than anyone. But when you've got it settled, back 4, back 5, say, including the keeper, everyone knows how everyone's going to play. And as defenders, like you want to know. You need to know as a defender the balls that the keeper is going to come from, the ball he's not going to come from, because they're the ones you need to go and challenge for. And you have to have confidence. You need to know where if there's a quick ball on, you need to know, well, if I make space, the keeper's going to be able to find me straight away from it. And when you chop and change your keeper, similarly, like you chop and change a centre back or the wide men or anything like that, people don't understand exactly where you're going to play this. even though they're training and stuff like that. But it's real match. That's where those bonds are really kind of made, and you understand the patterns of play better. And I think when you're swapping out keepers like that, you probably lose that fluidity in the play and that knowledge of when to come, when the keeper's going to come or when the defenders need to come. And I think, that only comes with, am I right in saying, Steffi, the longer you play together, that's when those relationships start to form, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's not even like, if you're playing the game, it's the difference is the reaction ones, where it's like a ball's turned over and next of all the ball's over the top. You instantly know then your keeper's going to be there or not. If you're caught in two minds and you half go and you stop, and then that's where the confusion and the blurred lines come in. So yeah, look, it's just them reaction ones, and look, we all know you should have a number one. In my eyes, you should have a number one keeper, and then you have the backup who comes in and plays. That's how you become solid. Bar like injury, suspensions, or a total massive loss of form. Like, so, we won't mention Sligo, but yeah, look, if they're going to pick number one, then I think they should stick with it. Like Chris said, he's after getting his first clean sheet there tonight. But I think just when the ball goes back to him twice or three times, I'm just like, he's taken too. Like, you're looking at the striker closing down, you're going, he's taking too much out of this. Melia nearly nicked one away from him. I think he just got the ball just ran out. But if the block comes on and then he rolls it into the back of the net, then we're going into a Sligo situation again. Like, so, yeah. Look, I thought he kicked over the line too much. He tried to pick out Archie Davis quite a lot. I don't know. That's obviously premeditated. They've worked on picking out Davies, and Breslin was winning most of them battles. I know it's probably hard to change in game, but then he was, I don't know if he was overcompensating at them, but he seemed to be kicking the ball over the line then.
Yeah.
And I think it was a Gally or Chris mentioned, the last, like, there was like about 15 seconds to go. I'm sure he knew it was in the last dying seconds. And you're just saying, we might just get one more chance here if he hurries up a little bit and he stalls it. Then he brings
the ball the other side.
And couldn't believe it. And Garth and Bournes, you were absolutely losing their shit on the sideline.
Yeah.
But that shows, and like, sorry, Seth, not to cut across you, but that shows you the difference. Whereas last week they might have known, keep it, we'll play for the draw. Whereas these really wanted to, it's not that we don't want to win all the time, but there seemed to be a different kind of energy, Steph, wasn't it? It just seemed to be a little bit. It was straight to get it up the field because there's a chance here, like.
Yeah, exactly. And look, that's what we're just looking for. And then the crowd feeds off that. There was a different vibe around the place. As soon as the match kicked off, people closing down, you were sort of thinking, right here, we have a game tonight.
Yeah.
We're not just going to roll over or go with a whimper. Like, we're going to compete here tonight. And that, like, if we got beaten tonight and we put in that performance, you wouldn't be happy with it, obviously, but you'd come away with like something from it, rather than the couple of weeks where if we lose by an odd goal, but the performance or the effort or just how we went about it was wrong, then you'd rather it. At least it's shown signs that like you can turn it around.
Yeah, I think and I think that's all we've been looking for, isn't it? It's not like we're again we're talking about 0-0 and no goals and blah, but there's obviously we'll get into why there's possibly no goals, but I think everybody now tonight, there's a different kind of spin on the podcast, and there's a bit of kind of positivity about it. I mean, I don't even want to use that word anymore because optimism and positivity is like, I don't really want to use, I need to think of synonyms for one of them because I don't want to use that word anymore. But yeah, it's nice to come home. Like I would say, it's the simple things, because even going back to the stand at halftime, looking forward to getting going. Even the crossbar was hit twice tonight, lads, at halftime. Couldn't believe it. I heard a row from and getting me coffee. I thought right back Dundalk at halftime there to win the game. But obviously, that aside, and it's been mentioned a couple of times here, and I've seen it online as well. if we take, Robbie Benson's chance tonight, he's taken a shot that he probably wouldn't get another chance to take over the last couple of weeks. He's got a long range shot. We Gullen probably, plenty of touch of the ball, but nothing really happened on top. Cross is coming in, but I felt like, not an obvious thing, but if Mealy is playing for Dundalk tonight, we probably get a win because the crosses would have suited a player like him. We didn't seem to have anybody. I don't know if we're just slow getting into the box. Steph, you mentioned maybe a bit of fitness with Gullen or if it's carrying an injury. But we just seem to be very slow. There
was one chance where he sort of tried to take on the defender inside the box, and you're sort of saying, just let the handbrake down and sprint. But no, I'm joking there, obviously. But he just seemed like he was carrying himself a wee bit when he was running. So I don't know look, it could be a muscular thing or something like that, or he just didn't want to go full pelt. But he definitely wasn't. He wasn't going for it, so I don't know if he has a niggle or he's not playing at 100%, but yeah, like he's dropping deep and there's some nice touches there and he's linking it well, but that's when you nearly need if he's the 9, he's dropping into that space in the 10, then you need the 10 to go up on the last defender, and just keep rotating it in and out. And cause them issues because Hogan was dropping into that hole when he was starting high, dropping into the hole, and Keeley, who was picking him up, was trying to call back Lennon, who was playing the 6 for them, but he was picking up somebody else. So that was causing him trouble. But then we get to a point, and then that's it. It's the wrong pass, the wrong decision, and look, we were restricted to shots from outside the box pretty much. There's no real big chances for us that you can write about. They've had Forrester has a shot from about 25 yards out, tries to catch Shelby out of his near post and ripples the side net. You have the big chance for Amelia, which is an absolute sit-up. I'd like to see it back because he's running in on goal and it looks like Shelby drops to his knee from what I remember, and it ricochets off the shoulder. To me, it wasn't. I don't know if he saved it, but it seemed like it was more of a mischance than a keeper save.
Give the keeper some credit, will you?
That man has 2 shield medals there for goals and stuff.
Look, he saved the ball, so yeah.
In fairness to Steph, from the stand, it didn't look like he touched it. I don't know what, maybe just the angle you're watching it, so I'm not sure.
I didn't
lovely
actually,
windows in the stand.
I thought he ballooned it. And then the Mulroney chance at the end, then I thought he took a bad touch and he nearly scored. He nearly scores. He nearly takes the goals. Takes the goals down the other end with him. But yeah, look, they had a couple of decent chances compared to what we've had. Obviously the Benson shot is a decent save. I think Shelby pulls off a decent save from Forrester in the first half as well, which was a good save, Chris. You'd be happy to hear that one. The goalkeeper's Indians after me, but look, I think they had the better chances. I think we did play really well in spells, but then we got to a certain point, and then we just looked a bit blunt then up top.
T-lad, hang in there. We will.
Be patient. It's coming.
Just when I was coming in, I heard just kind of talking about Steph. You were talking about the Archie Davis. Did it work? Did it not work? I just felt Davis is nearly better. When there's someone in front of him takes on the defenders, and then you lay the ball back to him, and he can kind of run at it and just swing a ball in. It's like the dead ball, and then he had to kind of get something. He was kind of overhitting them, or his angle was completely wrong 2-3 times tonight. I just thought he's just better when he's got no time to think about it, can just approach the ball and just swing the boot straight at it. That's much better.
There was even a chance it was probably around 70-75 minutes, I think, or maybe a little bit later, and he did actually get into the prime position to just whip one first time, and he just takes it inside on his left. And instead of an outswing or going 6-yard box penalty spot, he hits it with his left foot and overhits it on the force and goes out for a goal kick. Like, but yeah, I think some players are just better suited when they are facing the whole game.
I think so. Yeah.
Some players are better, coming towards the ball. Yeah, it's just different. They've tried it. It's worth a try, but and maybe I think someone might have mentioned in the comments already that they might have been doubling up on that side as two defensive players. But I thought he's a lot more effective as a right full. But then where does Mountney go?
Yeah, of course, especially when he's your captain.
Yeah, I don't know if he just I thought Mountney was solid. I don't think they've caused us too much trouble down that side. I'm trying to think back, but yeah, I think he's done well enough, and he's got good amount of minutes in the tank there.
Did you see that last comment there, though?
Yeah, just bring it up for clarity. That's very harsh.
Very harsh there.
Very harsh. If you're listening back, I'm not going to repeat it.
Yeah. Hardly Steph.
Yeah,
Steph
Chris,
is
it something? When we talk about obviously, look, the lads at the back had a great game today. Zach Johnson's gone off. I don't know how early. It seemed earlier than it was. I don't know what the minute was. It seemed very early, but I think I was just getting caught up in a bit of.
Was it halfway through that? Half was it?
20, 26, 27 minutes, something like that. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a major issue but again, Anna Masahoon's come on and he's had a chance as well. I couldn't think of the other chance. He had a half decent header in the second half. It's just kind of, I don't know how close it was from your side, Chris, or from ours. It looked like it just bounced kind of wide. So it's something that we were talking about crosses, set pieces last week. It's something they kind of need to start utilising, because as we keep glaringly making obvious point of, in the final third of the pitch, we're not getting anything from it. So and we've got Cammy Elliott that's come on. Look, again, like similar to what Steph's saying about Gullen, kind of runs for you, gets a couple of touches, doesn't there's one of the chance he got in, should have just squared the ball, and he decided to take 47 minutes with it. It was just crazy. They just squared the ball in. There was Hogan, I think it might have been Hogan or Benson that was running screaming onto it. Is it something that sorry, go on, yeah. No,
I think we said it last year, the energy that Cammy Elliott kind of gives you, that's better when he's playing alongside somebody, so there's still a focal point. But I think when you haven't got that focal point and he is your focal point, you lose a little bit of your structure, because he kind of wants to go everywhere. He doesn't stay in the number 9 position, for instance, that you'd expect Gullen to be in. So I think I said it before, he's a bit like Captain Chaos when he comes on. You could get anything out of him. The only thing I will say is, he's very good at kind of harassing and annoying defenders. He's charging down the lost causes and stuff like that. Yeah. But I just think I'd love to see a better end product from him. That's the only thing. In a time where, we're talking about not getting enough shots and not taking enough chances. I think that's the key part, where might he work better alongside Gullen or something like that he might occupy defenders and free up a bit of space for him possibly, but leading the line, I'm not too sure. But there's something there for him, especially in the latter parts of games. He's probably a good option to bring on, because like I say, he's more a Captain Chaos than anything else. You wouldn't know what you get from him. But yeah, I'd prefer you prefer him to be playing with somebody else who's definitely up top, and you're not losing out on that with him.
And obviously, we own Kenny in the stand tonight. I'm talking about strikers, and it's something I think, Steph. I don't want to keep pointing at it. We've been over this a couple of times, and are they going to have to go, if they can? Are they going to have to go and look for someone, or are they going to have to change the way they play? I'd seen comments, change the tactics. Or I thought the tactics were similar enough tonight, but it was a bit more energy-wise. It almost was like a gung-ho attitude. Like, let's go out, lads. Let's play the way we want to play. Let's play the way we can play. But are we going to have to seriously address? We've Ryan O'Kane come on late. Robbie Mahan start the game, done decently well. Robbie kind of played like someone who hasn't really had a lot of minutes that you were expecting. But is it something that they're either going to have to change the tack, whether to go a false 9? I'm not really sure what way they look at it. But is it something that we may have to look at in the summer? Say, look, we're going to have to go out and get a striker here because we're going to be that far off goals-wise. Like, if we can't put the ball in the back of the net, we're going to have a serious problem. Is it worth kind of putting a punt on someone saying, look, let's pay a little bit extra, whatever the wages are, we don't know. But it's a glaringly obvious problem because there seems to be nothing. I don't know if Owen Kenny's injured. I'm not sure. You might be able to correct me on that, boys, but what his time frame is for coming back. But I mean, it just, I can't even think of I'm raising the point, but I can't even think of an alternative. We don't actually have one in the squad. And 2 strikers are playing most weeks. They're getting, kind of, one's getting an hour, one's getting half an hour, and they're just not producing. So is it something that they just might have to change completely the way they play in the final third?
Yeah, it's a difficult one because it just looks like we're not creating though. We're living off scraps of shots from 20, 30 yards, which is the frustrating thing, because if we are creating chances and missing, then you'd be saying, look, it's only a matter of time before the shot doesn't hit the post, it goes in or whatever. It's just like, it's hard because you are coming away from games going like, where are we going to get these goals from? Like, Gullen's come in and he had a bit of a knock, but he scored a free kick. I don't know how many of the matches he's played, but he scored a free kick. Elliott started a couple and has come off the bench quite a bit and hasn't scored. Like, I know we haven't scored many goals anyway, but it's look, I think prime example, and I know, look, this fella's a good player and that, but like Max Mata coming back to Sligo has probably got them from looking like they were going to be right down there with us to elevating them already. So the likes of that, if you have a goal scorer in your team at all, you seen what it does to average teams. If you can have someone that just knows where to be, right place at the right time, sort of thing. That's why they get the big money, isn't it? That's the strikers. It's what the hardest thing to do the hardest thing to do in football is to score goals, and I know all about it. So go to the 3 but it's the hardest thing to do, and that, look, they grab all the headlines, and probably rightly so, 99 times out of 100. So yeah, look, though, probably few and far between we see players in the league getting top goal scorer on, like Craig Shannon. You see, like, but look, you'd like to think they're trying to look at somebody, because maybe you bring in that goal scorer and then Gullen can still do his thing where he plays up top and drops in and links play, and then you have somebody up there that they can target from getting ball out wide, getting crosses into the box. Because even Ryan O'Kane at the end, like, you're sure that he had a great chance to cross the ball, and and he hesitates and just plays a square ball because he looks up, and I don't know. I don't think there's anybody in there to put it away.
We take Francie back.
What a shout, Francie Callan. That's a cracking shout there, boys.
Just commented there, someone's granddad was Francie Callan bringing him out of retirement. I'll take it. Look, I think, unfortunately, I think with Owen Kenny's injury, he was doing fitness tests last week. He's obviously not close to it, but I did see, Brian Garland have a good chat with him post-match tonight. So maybe it's something that could be in the plans in the very near future. And from Owen's point of view, I suppose, with a lack of any strikers really taking their chance, he must be rubbing his hands saying, get me into that team quickly, because if he can find any sort of form, you could nearly secure that striker position at the club. That's the only good thing from him coming back, but it's bad for us that we're hoping he can come back from it very quickly. But I think pre-season, like, we've seen him score, we've seen him take chances, and it shows that he's capable of leading the line, and he's capable of taking chances. So you'd like to think that if we can get him back, it might just be another option for us. And because we were like, we don't want to harp on it too long, but
because we were so good in the second half, like we were the better team in the second half. We started really well in the first in general, but I thought we were a better team overall in the second half, albeit, Pats did come on a little towards the end. Mulroney's hit the posts.
I think their subs were quite strong coming on.
Absolutely. I mean, you would see them boys warming up on the pitch. I mean, Forrester, like somebody pointed out, Forrester didn't have a great night. Like if he's on all cylinders, they're a different animal. I think Mealy is decent as well. But, like because we had finally got the grip between our teeth in the second half. And again, we're just looking for that outlay up top and it just wasn't happening. And it's just such a pity. But look, it's step by step, I suppose, over the next couple of weeks, isn't it? Let's see what we can do. Can we reproduce that now on Monday night? Yeah, I think we've Sligo coming up next week, is it, or the week after? I can't remember the fixture off the top of my head, but let's see if we can, progress. And I suppose if we can get a 1 or 2 draws like that, but with that performance, it's great. But you need to just cap it off with a little goal, even if the score draws. It's even to show, can we put the ball in the back of the bloody net? You'll take a score draw in that kind of performance. It's just, look, it's such a pity. Owen Kenny, yeah, you're right, Chris. I mean, to have an opportunity to come back into a squad that's lacking up top at the minute, and just a bit of maybe it's a mental thing. I don't know. If you go on so long, you might not be able to score. That it kind of plays on your mind, but it is a great opportunity for someone like Owen to come in and say, right, let's have a proper run at this, because now he's been watching for so long that they're going to send him in. And yeah, it's a pity he is injured, or we don't know when he's coming back, because the 2 boys on the sideline tonight could be the ones to give him that crack. They're coming up now. They're going to be under pressure themselves, and we don't know who's going to be in the hot seat over the next couple of weeks. But it could have been a perfect time for Owen to come in and the 2 boys to take a chance, because they've obviously taken chance tonight. Bradshaw at left back, Archie up on the right. They drop Benson back into a kind of a, not CDM, but more of a, he hasn't played his height tonight as he normally would. He's got a chance to run with the ball, and you've also got Shelby back and goal. So they're not afraid to kind of say, look, we've nothing to lose here. So someone like Owen Kenny could really benefit from that.
Sometimes like in football, you just need a bit of luck, like just to get your chance. And it looks like it's just crying out for someone to come in there. And if they can do well at all, you'd imagine they'll stay in. He looked lively in pre-season, like Chris said. You've seen how well the loan spell went from Wexford. You were getting highlights every 2 or 3 weeks of how he was doing. He looks like a strong runner and a good runner with the ball. He gets the goal in the Malone Cup. You're sort of thinking, he probably has a good chance of at least being on the bench and trying to kick on from there. So I'm sure if he's not fully fit, he's probably itching to get back. Like, they had Mason Melia leading the line for them tonight. Like, how is he only 16? Like, he must be the biggest 16-year-old in the history.
16? Is he 16?
16 yeah.
I thought he was 18. I knew he was young. My God.
Yeah, he was 15 when he scored the penalty against Dundalk that night. So
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, like
he's 18. I didn't realize that young. Yeah.
For him to lead the line, like Owen Kenny's really in trouble of going over the hill at 18 or 19, whatever it is, But like, look, it's there. Like, I think, like back in our day, if you're thrown in at 18, 19, you're sort of shitting yourself. But a lot of these young lads just seem to take it in their stride. Maybe they'll be the actors or whatever, but they're so calm and composed. You probably see it around all of world football, but these lads are coming in with like good head in their shoulders or something. It just seems like they're supposed to be there. So I think the fear factor has maybe gone, or it just doesn't seem to be as big now. Just boys going out and playing a game of ball. Maybe we built it up too much. I don't know. Maybe myself anyway. But yeah, look, it's good to see that they're taking chances on people, and look, moving Bradshaw in there look to be a good stroke for them tonight. Hopefully, I don't know what happened to Johnson, but hopefully he's not too bad. Chris, did you hear anything?
No, I didn't. I don't think. I can't remember if Brian mentioned anything. As I said, it's probably just Johnson's injury and John Mountney going off as well could be the only 2 blotches on the night. Like, we hope it's not too bad. Obviously, John just wanted to do the wee lap of honour on the way out. I think make it feel good on the way around. But it's that can be the only blot for it. And look, just what you said there, Steph. I think you're right. I think think Pats though have always created this environment for young players as well, though, haven't they? Like whenever any sort of young talents, like we've seen it with Banqua and stuff like that previous with them, they've always somehow find a space to bring in these players and allow them to play alongside the first team. You know, this is something we've bemoaned for a long time, is, you know, kind of one, local talent, but then two, kind of young talent. How do we pepper this around our team? Like we kind of always mix that little blend in our teams throughout the years. And it's, you know, it's unfortunate because you see clubs, I suppose, a bit like Shamrock Rovers and Pats of late, probably, you know, making sales out of these young lads as well, and making some money off it. So it's just a shame. It's something.
I don't think it's any secret that, like, the Rovers, the Pats, the Shells, like, they have their academy in order.
Yeah.
You know, it seems like a proper pathway. They're bringing the young lads in, and, you know, it just, you can see the conveyor belt, as you may say, like, of young lads coming in, getting their chance, playing well. We've seen, you know, Adam Murphy came in as like a 16, 17-year-old into that squad, and he's gone to Bristol City, and, you know, I think he's you know, making a career for himself now. But there has, like, Rovers have endless amount of, and look, I know there's a good lot of it down to finances and different things like that as well. So and facilities, like, for attracting these players. So look, I don't know, you're probably going to have to just build from the bottom and try and go from there. And it might be, if we get our house in order that way, then, you know, you might see the fruit of that. But yeah, look, I think it's been a bit disjointed in the academy structure for a wee while, and that's probably reflected in the first team. I know, looks like Stephen Kenny went with more senior players, and, you know, maybe that didn't create the environment either, because...
No, but I think the league's kind of changed though a bit, Steph, since that, hasn't it?
The profile and the age, like we just mentioned a couple of minutes ago, like, you know, these younger lads coming in, and they seem a lot more assured of themselves and confident. And look, I think the technical side of things has definitely improved massively with younger players. So yeah, look, it's a hard one unless you're in and around the sort of academies and see what there is, or following the results. And, you know, we probably see the same names cropping up, and you're waiting for them to make the breakthrough. Like, but, you know, we've let a couple slip through our fingers. I think Jerry Malone beyond about a few goalkeepers that slipped the net, or for one or two reasons, and then obviously Manny went up the road, which is still is a sore spot for everyone around the town, everyone involved. We had Tiernan Malvena on, like, the last couple of games of the season, and myself and Tiernan was talking about how good Manny was going to be, and, you know, we were saying you were just waiting for him to make the breakthrough, and then we got the old slap in the face that he was signing with Rhoda. So yeah, but look, I suppose you can't really hop on the past, but you'd hope that those lessons learned from that make sure if we do have the talent that we reward them or benefit them for staying with us, and hopefully we can start seeing some and like we said, like, there's nothing better than seeing a local lad from the town making the breakthrough. I think we all attached ourselves to Ryan O'Kane, particularly Gally there. I think
it's number one cheerleader.
Yeah, I think Gally adopted him there for a wee bit. But, like, there's nothing better than seeing your own come true. So hopefully there's more where that came from. I suppose we can claim on Kenny as well. Like, he's in town long enough now, and he's gone through the underage structure. So hopefully there's more of that to come.
I think you've got things like Oisin Coleman and stuff like that. Don't they rate him as well, kind of coming through, and a couple of under 19s, Malloy and stuff like that, isn't it?
Oisin's actually gone.
Oh, did he go?
You just got in there before me, Steph.
Yeah, I think he's playing with Glebe North. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I think he had been up training with Drogheda and he'd maybe a team up north like Ballymena or Coleraine or something like that. But yeah, look, I think a few of them had been in and around the first team. Anthony Mayo as well.
Glebe North getting an FA
he's gone to
final,
Drogheda now, isn't he, Anthony?
Yeah, he's gone to Drogheda. He was on the bench, I think, a couple of times. He hasn't really made the breakthrough yet. But yeah, look, I think it gets to a stage where you're right, are going to be getting a contract in the first team when you get 18, 19, or you're going to be moving on. So look, you're not going to get the squad filled with young lads coming through, but it'd be nice to see a couple more than we have seen the last wee while.
Yeah.
And just obviously something. Look, we're 50 minutes in. We didn't know. We said at the end of last week's show that if there was any kind of breaking news or anything in Oriel Park, that we might throw on a podcast. But I think that Twitter kind of sorted that out when the news came in on Monday morning, filtered through kind of slowly but surely from LMFM and local journalists and stuff like that. But look, on the we sat here last Friday night and we said, look, it was a twist. Okay, a situation, a stick or twist type of situation, and we all went for twist. And we've obviously seen it on Monday morning. It's obviously whatever's been said over the weekend, whatever's kind of sat on people's minds over the weekend. Stephen ODonnell obviously was relieved of his duties on Monday morning. But just on that, Chris, although it's heartbreaking and it's in a way it is a shock because of the club we are and the player he was, and it's a pity we're not going to see any kind of, I don't mean success, but any kind of chance of, like I said, I keep saying to people all week, if this run of games come 6 or 7 games into the league, he probably stays in the job. But because it started so bad, it's gone on. It's just kind of deteriorated and become kind of monotonous. So the kind of the aftermath of that. Just what did you think of it? Just as it broke on Monday, was it? I don't think it was surprising as such, but it's sad in a way. It's kind of because we had that affinity with him, and it is a pity for everybody concerned, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Look, and I think in particular from Stephen coming as club captain and a bit of hero that kind of kicked off the real success we had. You think from fighting back from injury to get to that Cork match, that was fairy tale stuff. And he really, carried that team and led us through obviously one of the most successful times in our club history. And then when he finished playing, we got him straight in he come straight into the backroom staff and doing the analysis piece for the opposition. And it kind of just seemed that we, when he got the opportunity to become manager, you were thinking this was great because you could see, he got opportunities all around the club. And this is, the hero captain Skip stepping in and becoming manager was, it was nearly fairy tale stuff again. And you think how well that first season went, and we were maybe it was just ourselves that we weren't expecting as well as we did, and we put together a fairly good squad that year as well. And to think we ended up level points with Derry at the end of the season in second place, but behind on goal difference. You were hoping that was going to be a bit of a springboard to maybe kick us off and get us back in to where, back into that successful spell again. But I think when we seen the change of management or change of ownership that time, and the players, I think, I'll bring you in on this as well. I think you can get away maybe once, when he first came in and he said, it's only Mayowa and Andy Boyle, I think, or no, Ryan O'Kane and Mayowa and Andy Boyle were the only players he signed, and he had to sign everybody. To do that 3 years in a row, it was, that task was getting harder and harder to do as well. And I think the later we were leaving it, and the finances didn't seem to be that obvious anymore. Then we had a change of ownership during the last season and this current season, and the fact that the previous ownership didn't seem to want to invest any more in the club. We were going to turn into the club we are now, I think, under that, and either way. And therefore, I think we lost a lot of League of Ireland experience. out of our squad. And what we could replace that with coming later to the table then was from a lot of guys from outside the league, and that takes a while. Like we were talking about a more positive performance here tonight, but maybe this is just some of these guys gelling together. And really, if you can put that mix right, that we've probably seen season one, is when you've got some good experienced players from the league, and you mix that with a little bit of loan signings, maybe from outside it or whatever, just to give you something different. But it's, it was kind of, for me, it was kind of going to the well 3 seasons in a row and hoping you were going to pull up gold each time. And, it ran its course this year. And I think you could probably tell on Skip's face as well, it was kind of starting to get to him at that stage. In particular that the LMFM interview, I think post-match in Derry, he sounded broken. God love him. Like he really sounded broken. He felt that not that the players didn't do it all, but he expected more from them. I think he expected more from the players that night, and I think he felt a little let down. And I probably wouldn't have been surprised if I had heard that he went that night or early the next morning. The fact that it was Monday was probably the only surprise out of it. And I still think Stephen will probably leave this club in, I still think he's still held in high regard, not for how it ended now, but for everything else previous to that. For it. That's my big long monologue done. Good night.
Steph. Obviously we sat here for the last couple of weeks, Steph, and look, it's like you mentioned, the Sligo game and the goal we set up with that, they were kind of real kind of catalyst for it. That was kind of the real kind of where we get into this gauntlet of just a never-ending black pit of just awful stuff to kind of not watch, but it just seemed to be never ending. We just never seemed to get the grip between the teeth like they did tonight. And unfortunately for Stephen, that's what's happened. I think Chris is right there. He is one of the best we've had, a legend of the club, and it's just a pity for everybody concerned. I think as much as we wanted the twist to happen and the change that was probably needed, it's just such a pity that we didn't get to see what could have happened if ownership, is this type of thing, didn't come into play.
Yeah, look, I think for me anyway, you're going back to he's won the Cup of Pats, and he seemed to have a really good squad there. Everything was set up for him. I know the owner, Callagher, sort of like to have a rein on things there, and Alan Matthews seemed to have his ear as well. So yeah, look, he's come in after winning the cup with Pats. He finishes joint second in the league in his first season with us after, all the wranglings of coming in late, and, he'd agreed to stay on with Pats and the whole lot. But he doesn't turn into a bad manager then over the next couple of seasons. I think he was very restricted. You're looking, like Chris had mentioned, the loan signings. The start of last season and this season as well, you have the change of ownership, which obviously budgets are up in the air. Is he how is he going to sign players when there's change of ownership, which is obviously all happening behind the scenes. But yeah, look, I think his hands were tied, and I would have been one of his biggest fans. But like I said last week and the couple of weeks before, it sort of gets to a stage where, even if you're in a job and, sometimes you just need to change.
Yeah.
It's no reflection on him. I think he was totally restricted with the hand he was dealt with the players maybe he does have a hand in signing them, but he came out really strongly on saying that the market had gone in Ireland and they had to look elsewhere. And obviously, unfortunately, the players that have come in, we've seen a couple of success stories, like McCarry last year was excellent. Archie Davis, McCarry the year before, whatever. But those type of signings, like the loan players that come in, were excellent. But again, the model was like, we're signing these loan players, they're only going to be here for six months, and then you're hoping to keep them until the end of the season. Like, we're going to be in the same boat come July. Like, some of our better performers are probably going to go back to their parent clubs. Like, Johnson has been one of the standout performers for me. He's looked so impressive defensively, and when he's got on the ball, he's looked assured, playing out from the back. For a 19-year-old kid, I think he's really, really good, and you know, he's probably going to go in July. So it's the model you're sort of thinking, and maybe Ainscough has come in as well, you know, late into the window. A lot of the Irish clubs are doing their business for a couple of months before the end of the season. So you don't know if it's just, we'll get to this point and then, but you'd like to think there's plans going on behind the scenes, and hopefully the finances are there. I know it's been no secret that they're looking for investment, so you just like to think that either the investment comes in or we just have enough there that, you know, we can sign the striker that'll start moving us up the league in July, or Owen Kenny bags about 25 in the next couple of weeks and months. But yeah, look, I think, just going back, I think it's just sad the way it's went. I know life can be a lot of what ifs, but you know, what if Stephen O'Donnell had gotten the finances that Stephen Kenny had got, or you know, would he have done things? I'm sure he'll look back in his time, reflect, and I'm sure he'll step into another manager's job somewhere. I just hope it doesn't come back to haunt us. I think he'll always have good feelings towards the club, and I'd like to think that, you know, everyone attached to the club, like, just had the same sort of feelings as well, because I know if someone mentions Stephen O'Donnell to me, I won't say, I probably won't have a bad word to say against him. Do you know, that sort of way? So he's he's the main figure that you'd associate with Dundalk successful period the last couple of years. Like I didn't write, I read an article from Jerry Spain, and this is going back a good couple of years. I think he'd only left. I think Kevin Riley might have sat down in an interview with him a year after he'd left, and he'd already earmarked Stephen O'Donnell as a potential manager from that squad. He'd not really spoken about many of the players, but he said, you know, everything, the way he looked at the game, the way he thought about it, you know, he'd earmarked him, I think it might have been in 2018 or 2019, as a future manager. And look, I think if you get speaking to the man, you know how much knowledge and football he has in him. So yeah, look, I just hope it's not one of them that comes back and bites us now in the next couple of years or so.
Yeah, it's a pity it has. It's just one of them that, you know, I don't think we wanted to work with more for a manager, you know, someone connected. So, you know, that Kenny era, that's what it is. You know, that players that come through, and look, he's learned from him. He's learned from other managers, Michael O'Neill. You know, he's Pat Fenn and all these kind of boys. And look, it's such a pity for him. But look, that's, you know, it's a cruel business, as Darren was saying. Look, you got to take the rough with the tumble, and definitely a League of Ireland, there is no hiding place, because it's such a passionate league from fans and players. Look, and while we're on the subject of potential players or no players or whatever players we got in, we run through our. You know, I think we're going to enjoy giving away a man of the match tonight, because we've given away some dodgy pizzas over the last couple of weeks, lads. Probably, you know, people are eating out of Tony's and haven't really had any performances to look back on. But I'll kick it off. Will I? Or does anybody want to take front on it?
Yeah, well, just if everyone, this is the last chance to get everyone in on their man of the match. So yeah, no, go around the house. Go for it, Kelly. Yeah, so in the first couple, I remember watching the game 10, 11 minutes, and I thought, right, John Mountney's going to nail this, because I thought he was absolutely outstanding early on in the game. But
there is some names coming in. I don't know. There's a lot of Zach Johnson comments. Now, I don't know if he's mixing them up with Bradshaw, because he only played half an hour, so maybe I'm being very cruel on Zach Johnson.
He only played 21 minutes.
But 21 minutes. But
what a 21 minutes.
What a 21 minutes. The man's exceptional. But for me, I think it was like watching an old, a vintage Robbie Benson display. I said it a million times on this show, when he's in full flight with a ball at his feet and he's in the game, there's not many better than him. And I enjoyed the fact that it's been a long time since I said Robbie Benson's name up here. And that's not to be critical. We just never had a chance. It's always been kind of the centre backs, maybe Sheps last year, the goals and stuff. So yeah, for me, Robbie Benson. Bradshaw, again, special shout to him. I thought he was excellent at left back. I thought Mountney had a great first half as well, albeit didn't really get going in the second half, a bit of a niggle as well. But no, Robbie for me, I just thought he was fantastic. And it's unbelievable to watch him, when he's on it. Yeah, so Robbie Benson for me. Whoever wants to go. Steph, we'll go to you next. We'll leave the producer to last.
It's because I'm giving it to Shelby.
Bobby Renson.
Bobby Renson.
Yeah, look, I think a lot of the players you picked out. I thought for the first time we sort of seen Daryl Hogan play well. I thought he was linking it up well. He had a couple of efforts and stuff like that. He sort of died out of the game, but I thought he maybe was taken off a little bit too early. I didn't think he totally ran out of steam. Now I could be wrong, or he could have got word to the bench or so. But Bradshaw in at left full looked pretty assured. Like going from centre mid then to left full, I think he looked natural in there. He didn't give the winger a sniff at all that I can remember. He was strong. He got forward a little bit as well. But yeah, look, I think it's like I always said, like if you've Benson in the 8 position where he can go from box to box, I know he probably can't do it as effectively as when we've seen the European runs and stuff like that. But yeah, look, I think he was showing signs of his old self. He was dogged. He was, getting in these niggly tackles. His quality on the ball was good. He was supporting play. He'd 1 or 2 efforts. He was unlucky, but probably a decent save from the keeper. But yeah, look, I think Benson probably just shaded. I know people are saying Mountney was he probably set the tone as the captain, and everyone sort of, he was getting in people's faces and challenging and sending the ball on. But yeah, I think Mountney gets an honourable mention as well. But yeah, Benson for me probably just over the rest of the boys, to the whole team that I mentioned.
Just so we know, that was Benson at the end, right?
Benson, yeah.
Benson. Well, look, it'll be the clean sweep for him then as well. Like as I said, I probably nailed my colours to the mast early in the show, but I just think it was a Rolls Royce performance from tonight. He put in a few good tackles to kind of get the crowd going as well, and I can't stop every time I see him in full flight now. When we were doing the interview with Dane Massey, and he was talking about it'll bounce as he runs. That's all I see. That's all I see now in Robbie Benson on the ball. I just we needed players like him. We needed players like John Mountney and Andy Boyle and Robbie Benson to really step up tonight. And I do feel those 3 players definitely did that. And hopefully, like I say, that's a platform to kick us on. But I just thought the person with the most creativity in the squad tonight was Robbie Benson, and he was a kind of a driving force behind. If we were going to do something tonight, it was definitely going to come from him. So it's a clean sweep of Robbie Benson, I think, which is thereabouts kind of with the majority of. Oh no, Tin Tomatoes, are we okay?
Yeah, no, we're good.
It's all right. So Tin Tomato, he comes in with some doomsday stuff for us. I do worry about him sometimes. But yeah, no. So we will. The majority of people kind of went with Robbie Benson as well. I'd say he probably had 50% of the votes tonight, and then a mix of Zach Bradshaw, some John Mountney, and some late shouts there for Shelby, but I think I just put them in, so sorry, I don't think they count. And Zach Johnson, of course, yeah. So I think tonight we'll give it to Aidan Walsh. Was one of the first ones in for the Robbie Benson shout. So Aidan, there is a 15-inch pizza there for you in Tony's Pizzeria. So just go in and give them a shout. It's on us. I'm just looking at we're gonna. He's got something, Steph.
We're gonna finish up on this. Yeah, it's been a long time.
Everyone settle in. This is 20 minutes still to go.
No, it's been a long time since we've obviously got Bows now Monday night. After today's performance, it's been a long time since we've done a prediction. So I know it's a quiet one to do, but I think when we go round the house very quickly and maybe we won't even go for a score line. We might just go for draw, win, defeat. Just on the bounce of tonight's match, Steph's obviously not having this one, but I think it begins to even to gauge what people are saying over the next couple of minutes. How is it? Can we kick on even more from that? Can the big grass pitch in Daly Mount suit us? Like the pitch, even though we haven't even mentioned the pitch, we're talking about refs as well. I know Mark Carroll wanted to talk about the refs, but the pitch.
We should have given it the ref for falling over.
Oh, absolutely.
That should have been man of the match.
What a dive. I envisioned somebody booking him.
Sorry, Mark.
Gaza a couple of years ago.
yeah. Someone should have picked up the yellow and give it to him.
But yeah, are we back at possibly doing predictions, boys, is what I was going to get at, or will we just stay clear? Let's have tonight and go again on Monday.
I was just looking at the price of the nil draw. It's 1-3 on Monday.
Is that every Dundalk result? Because every second one could be a 0-0 followed by God only knows what.
I don't know. I think you're pushing the boat on the predictions.
I think the big problem with the predictions is we can't score. So that's probably a major factor that we have at the minute.
I think we bring the predictions in after we get our first win.
Yeah, because all I can predict is the 1-0 one again, lads, and I'll take it any which way.
Yeah, well, you can predict it'll be a tough game against an Annan Reynolds setup, but I think.
But then they're so inconsistent. They've gone and won tonight, and then there's nothing to say that they will back that up with another win on Monday, because
there's the bet. We don't endorse gambling, but there's the bet. Hogan with the goal, 1-1. There's the bet. Just make note of it, folks. Yeah.
I'll take a 1-1 to Dundalk any day.
So on that note, folks, I think we're done, lads, aren't we? I think that's our show for tonight. You can tell, we said over the last couple of weeks, 600, 500. We can tell there's a little bit more optimism in the air with only 200 odd watching tonight. So maybe we weren't going to absolutely wallop the team tonight or give out too much, because that's what a performance gives you, isn't it?
Yeah, but before we go, I just had a look at a run of our next 6 fixtures. So obviously we've Bows on Monday, followed that by the trip to Sligo then on Friday, which is brought forward from Saturday on the 19th. Then we play a home to Bows, home to Shells, which is a tough one, but then away to Drogheda and away to Waterford. Waterford are up and down with their results. Drogheda, although they're picking up, I suppose, points a bit like ourselves, they're not going out and getting that many wins as well. So between Bows, Drogheda, Waterford, you're paying Bows twice. There's potential to get something out of that, and that's what you got out of the 6. You're thinking Shells is probably the toughest one in that. Yeah. In that run, it's not the worst. I know it's a lot of away games. Is probably the only thing you're thinking you gotta travel to Sligo, you gotta travel to Waterford, and you gotta go down the M1 then as well to what are they calling it these days? Weavers. Insert name here, Park.
Weavers.
So that's the only thing you'd say. It's you'd prefer a couple of those ones back at home now, on the basis of kind of a little bit more of a performance there tonight. But they're not impossible fixtures either. You're not staring down another Derry match, Shamrock Rovers or something like that. They're bar the Shells match, you're thinking there's a potential you could get something, and we if you're going to do it, there has to be something in this run sooner rather than later. We got to get this win.
Steph, any final thoughts?
Will I give away a free pizza to everyone if we get a win?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Don't say that.
That's a no.
See people queuing in the corner. Yeah, poor Vinny.
Yeah, look, you'd
If
like
we
to
win the
think-
league, if we win the league, we'll give everyone who listens a free pizza.
If we win the league, you're saying there's a chance.
Yeah, I'm just glad Gally didn't start in the potential new manager. I think that's it.
I debated it, boys. I did debate it, and then I thought it's probably a slippery slope to fall down. Because to be honest, there's not actually that many. There's normally a merry-go-round of kind of names, but there's not that many go out. So that's probably a good thing, maybe, that it's kind of in-house, I suppose, isn't it? I did debate starting a topic, but I think no, we'll just take the game for what it is tonight, maybe, and see.
Just hope we get someone in place soon.
Yeah, that's the hope. It's nothing. But lads, look, I think we'll leave it on that. Special shout out to Maxi. Have a great night, whatever you're drinking. I don't have any cans. I do apologize, but have a great night, whatever it was. They're on Dugan Hoods. But yeah, look, lads. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for coming on. It is a bit of a later one. I was saying this at the start because we actually start later at the home games because it takes us that long to get home through the traffic. The Pats traffic with home the M1 tonight was crazy, so it took me a wee bit longer to get home. But thanks for everybody tuning in. Thanks to our sponsors, Dundalk Village, Playoff Fit for the gear. I keep saying we will get more gear. We're due.
Oh, we'll do something. Yeah, we're kind of waiting for results too, because you don't want to be bringing out a nice jersey when everything's gone pear-shaped.
That's it. But and
everyone around the Maxi's house.
Everyone around the Maxi's house. Don't give them the address.
Many chicken balls,
and obviously we've done Dundalk Village, Playoff Fit, and Tony's Pizzeria there. So whoever's won the pizza, Aiden Walsh, get some chips, burgers. Get all the crack, get the full works when you're around there. And until Monday night, lads, I suppose it's come on to town.